In this video, I'm going to try to write 1,000 personalized emails in 10 minutes. The reason I chose 10 minutes as the time frame here is because that's how long, in my estimation, it would take for you to write one email after researching the prospect, applying that research to email copy, editing it, and sending it out to the person in question. So I wanted to try to send that at a 1000x efficiency using Clay. So the two main stipulations that I have to put into this challenge are A, we are not counting how long it takes for the integrations to run. That is out of my control. My Wi-Fi isn't great. And the second thing is we're not going to count how long it takes for me to type out some of the prompts or some of the copy, because my typing speed should not influence how quickly I do this. It should be about the tech. I think those are pretty fair. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I decided to do this campaign for my company internally because I figured why not try to get some clients out of this little challenge that I'm doing. I run an agency called The Kiln that does Clay work for other people. And so I knew my ICP pretty well. I kind of knew what copy I wanted to do. So it made this a little bit easier. I wanted to go into Apollo first to find the companies that I wanted to reach out to. In this case, I have filtered for companies in the United States, 21 to 500 employees in the software industry, and have raised some sort of money. So that is the broad level ICP that I'm looking for. As you can see here, I found 1.9 thousand companies. So what I'm going to do next is select all these companies, and I'm going to download them as a CSV. So after we've exported these records, we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go down to our imports and exports, and of course go down to our CSV exports, and you'll see right here we have the export that we just did. And next we're going to go to Clay. If you don't know what Clay is, it's pretty much a tool that you can use to enrich prospects to find more data on them and then create incredible personalizations that you can then send out into email campaigns. This is how I'm going to write these 1,000 emails at a speed that a human certainly could not. So next we're going to import our prospects into this table. How we do that is we click New Table and go to import companies from CSV. Then we're going to drag our Apollo accounts export into the CSV section and continue with our import. All right, so now we have 1,886 companies in our table. And what I'm gonna wanna do next is name this 1,000 email challenge. And we're gonna go to our columns right here, and we're gonna get rid of the ones that aren't important to us. So there are quite a few of those. And I wanna just make sure that I only have the stuff that I'm going to be using in my campaign. In this case, it's mostly just the website, the company URL, maybe their description, but not much else other than that. All right, so we have these 7 rows that are important to us, really just the company name, the number of employees, the website, the LinkedIn URL, the SEO description, and the short description. Next, we have to figure out what copy we're actually gonna be using for our campaign. We can't just go ahead and start doing any enrichments if we don't know what personalizations we're actually creating for this campaign. So the very first step after finding the contacts in your ICP is to go ahead and write your copy. All right, so now we're in a Google Doc. Let's get writing our copy. The first thing we're going to do is say, hey, first name, very standard. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and say I was on your site and it looks like you sell to, and then we'll do job title. Next, I'll hit them with a question. Have you been finding and reaching out to them manually? Asking because my agency uses Clay to scale your best outbound ideas to thousands of emails a day, getting rid of any manual company research or email writing usually required. We can get company names, company products in front of 10x more people with no compromise in outreach quality. Any interest in a free list of the contacts in your ICP of? All right, so finish up the copy. It says, hey, first name, I was on your site and it looks like you sell to job titles. Have you been finding and reaching out to them manually? Asking because my agency uses Clay to scale your best outbound ideas to thousands of emails a day. Getting rid of any manual company research or email writing usually required to run good campaigns. We can get the company names products in front of 10x more people with no compromise in outreach quality. Any interest in a free list of 1,000 contacts in your ICP of, and then the ICP. You can see here we have 5 personalizations: the first name, the job titles, the company name, the products that the company sells, and the ICP. 2 of these are really easy to get. The other 3 are a little tricky. And so we're going to go into Clay now and figure out how to do this. All right, so we have all this company information, but how are we going to find all of this data? Of course, the first name will be found later when we find the people related to the companies, and we already have the company name for emails right here. So that makes things quite easy for us on those 2 regards. However, if we go back to the copy, you can see here that we also have job titles that this company likely sells to. We don't really have that in our sheet yet, so how do we add it? In this case, we're going to use AI to make an inference as to what job titles the company sells to. We're going to go back to here, and we're going to click Add Column, and we're going to click Add Enrichment, and then go to Open AI. After we go to use AI, we are going to, in the prompt, write our prompt now. All right, so I've written, based on the company's description, tell me the job title that this company most likely sells to when trying to get people to purchase their product or service. Just print out one job title, nothing else, and here is the description. So now after this, I click return and I'm going to click slash. And when I click slash, a bunch of the columns that we have in our clay table are going to pop up. In this case, we're going to type in description and you'll see that we have our short description right here. And suddenly we can run our first 10 rows to see if this ended up working out for us. Beautiful. This looks good to me. And so now we're going to move on to the next personalization that we had. So if we go back to our copy here, next it seems like we're looking for the products that the company sells. This could be a little more difficult to figure out, so we're going to have to do a couple steps within Clay to figure this out. First, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Enrich Company at the bottom of our Suggestions tab. If you want to find it elsewhere, go to Enrich Data and then just do Enrich Company, and you can find it this way. It's going to populate automatically if you have a LinkedIn URL column with the company's LinkedIn, and we're going to click Add Fields and then run the first 10 rows. As you can see, we have a bunch of cells that pop up with these companies, and what we're going to do in order to see the data related to those companies is to click on the company's cell itself, and you'll see a ton of data points pop up related to these companies, whether it's a description of the company, where they're located, what their specialties are, how many followers they have. So many data points that you can use for a lot of these integrations within Clay. In this case, I wanted actually the entire LinkedIn profile, so we could use AI to make a better assumption as to what products that they sell. Sometimes in the short description, it's a little bit broad and we don't know if it's going to be super accurate as to what the company sells or what service they provide. So I wanted to use more data via their LinkedIn in order to do that. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the OpenAI enrichment once again, click on Use AI here, and we are going to put another prompt into Clay. All right, so the prompt for this integration is based on this company's LinkedIn profile data. Tell me what product or service they sell. Keep the output under 3 words and it should fit into the sentence. We can get company name for emails, company products in front of 10x more people with no compromise in outreach quality. And then in order to give the integration the entire LinkedIn profiles data, we're going to click slash. We're going to go down to the enrich company section and we're going to click insert all. Now we have the entire LinkedIn profiles data in our integration. You can see up here this little warning. It's going to run 3.5 turbo as opposed to GPT-4 because of the length limit for GPT-4, but that is not a problem here. It can easily make this assumption with GPT-5. Next, we're going to click save and run the first 10 rows, and we're going to see if this one works out as well. So now we have a list of the products that the company likely sells, and it's kept it under 5 words for us, so we're able to throw it into our email. So the last thing we have to find out about this company is what is their ideal customer profile or their ICP. In other words, what is the type of company that our prospects should reach out to in order to get some sales and get some new revenue. So in this case, we are going to use yet again another AI integration. Clays are amazing, and we're going to add column, add enrichment, and then go back to OpenAI. And we're going to prompt it once again. All right, so we've prompted it once again. I will read it out really quickly. Based on this company's description, tell me what the likely ICP company is for this business. In other words, tell me what kind of a company would be interested in their product. For example, a brick wholesaling business would be interested in bricklaying companies. Print out just the ICP, nothing else, and it should be 5 words or less. Here is the company's description, and I fed them the description. We will run this first 10 as well. All right, so it looks like this OpenAI integration worked well for us. It provided us with the response we're looking for. As you can see here, we have marketing agencies and media companies for a social video intelligence firm, enterprise scale businesses for enterprise technology management. It looks like it's doing the job that we wanted it to do. However, you can see a lot of these outputs by the AI, pretty much all of them are uppercase. The problem with that is when we end up using them in an email, when we end up inputting them in the variable spot for our personalizations, we don't want an uppercase output in a sentence like it would be right here for company products, so we need to make them lowercase at scale. Luckily, this is very, very easy to do within Clay. All we have to do is use a formula, which is essentially a column that allows you to edit text or use conditionals or take certain parts out of a text, and it's completely free to use within Clay, and it doesn't cost any credits like the AI integrations do. So highly recommend using formulas. When we go to formula, we will pretty much just say, make our product response lowercase, and once we generate the formula here, it will do it for us. And we're going to do that with all of our outputs, of course. So in this case, this is our products. And then we're going to, of course, do the same thing with their ICP. All right, now that this is finished, I'm going to run it for all of our columns. And once that's done, I'm going to start sequencing it in an email so we can see what it actually looks like when it's ready to go. All right, so our integrations are just about done running. So what we want to do next is find the people, of course, related to this company that would be good to reach out to for our current campaign. So what we're going to do is we're going to go home here and we're going to click new table. And then we're going to do find people from LinkedIn. As you can see, the first selection you can see here is companies, and we're going to scroll down to our 1000 email challenge column and go to our default view. Next, we're just going to look for founders, co-founders, head of sales, CSO, just as a few example job titles. In a normal situation, I would probably reach out to more people, but it is what it is. All right, so we're at 1,062 people. So I added a couple more job titles just to make sure we can actually send out 1,000 emails, and let's see what it does. All right, so we have 1,937 people. That should be more than enough to reach out to here, and I'm going to import them into our table, and we're going to get rolling. All right, so the only thing we have to figure out with our people table here is their email. We have gotten all the other variables we're looking for. As you can see here, the first name is right here, and all of our company table data is loading in right here with all of our different personalizations from the previous table. So next, what we're going to do is we're just going to click add column, add enrichment, and then do an email waterfall. Here is the work email waterfall, which pretty much means that you're going to start with one email provider here, and if it doesn't find an email, it's going to go to the next provider, and if it doesn't find an email there, it's going to go to the next provider, and so on and so forth. You're only going to spend 2 credits because it's only going to spend credits when you actually find an email. We're going to take Claygen out here because we don't want to use it, and then we're going to throw in first name, and their company domain's already right here, and we're going to go ahead and run all the rows in this view. All right, so as you can see, we have already 1,286 emails in this list. I have it filtered out by whether there's a validated work email in the table or not. So while the emails are still running, we have our 1,200 already. So I figured, why wait? All we got to do next is we have to pop out our different personalizations, which can be found right here. All right, so we have everything we need to now export this over to Smartlead and start creating our campaign. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go down to export, and I'm going to download our table as a CSV. All right, so now I'm in Smartlead, and I'm going to go ahead and import this CSV file into the table, and we're going to map out each one of these things. So we have their first name and last name mapped out. We have their validated work email, which we need to map as their email address. We have these different personalizations for our campaign, which I'll put right here. And then we have their company name for the emails already mapped out, and we are good to go. So we will go next here. All right, so we have 1,400 leads imported here. And next we're going to grab our copy. We're going to copy the copy, if you will, and we're going to throw it into our thing right here. Next, I'm going to just make sure that all of our variables are mapped out correctly by throwing them into Smartlead. All right, so I will add a subject. I'll just do something along the lines of like first name question to keep it simple. And we were going to now save it. Next, we just have to select a sender account. In this case, I will throw in my company emails. We'll just do 2 of them for the example's sake. Usually you'll want to use more because you can only send about 30 emails per account safely. So after that, we're going to go ahead and pick our time zone, which is New York, keep all the scheduling the same, go to our final review, and boom, we can read one of these examples now. Hey Jagan, I was on your site. It looks like you sell to HR managers. Have you been finding and reaching out to them manually? Asking because my agency uses Clay to scale your best outbound ideas to thousands of emails a day, getting rid of any manual company research. We can get Chizuba's volunteering platform in front of 10x more people with no compromise in outreach quality. Any interest in a free list of 1,000 contacts in your ICP of corporations seeking volunteer opportunities? So as you can see here, we have done it. We have written ourselves 1,000 personalized emails using Clay incredibly quickly with 3 different complex personalizations and 2 other personalizations such as first name and company name. All right, and that is it. I hope this video brought you some value. Even if you can't do 1,000 emails in 10 minutes yourself, I highly recommend trying out Clay. It is an incredibly powerful tool, and there's a link in the description of this video if you want to give it a shot. I also run an agency that does Clay for companies. If you're interested in having a campaign of a similar kind done for your company, feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, I hope this video was valuable to you, and reach out to me if you have any questions, of course. Have a good one.